Ladies and gentlemen, welcome inside the MGM Grand Conference Center in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. This is boxing presented by Bob Arum's Top Rank. This bout is scheduled for 10 rounds in the junior lightweight division. Our judges at ringside, Dave Moretti, Patricia Morse-Jarman, and Steve Weisfeld. The man in charge, Mr. Tony Weeks. This is boxing, this is Top Rank, and this is the main event. Fighting out of the blue corner, presented in association with Universal Promotions. He weighed in at 130 pounds. He's wearing pink trunks with white trim. He brings a record of 29 wins, 6 losses, 1 draw, 21 victories by way of knockout. The former world title challenger from Yuncos, Puerto Rico, Jayson La Maravilla Velez. Fighting out of the red corner, he weighed in at 129.9 pounds, wearing black trunks with gold trim. He brings a perfect record of 27 wins and no losses, 21 wins by way of knockout. A 2-time Olympian, former featherweight world champion from Nogales, Mexico, Oscar Valdez.
Okay, gentlemen, you both received your instructions. Okay, right here is good. Right here is good. Okay, I want a good, clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. Above all, protect yourselves at all times. Let's go.
Remember, you can join in the broadcast by simply going to espn.hearmecheer.com. Oscar Valdez's last fight was November 30th, 2019. That was a 7th round TKO against Adam Lopez. But remember, Lopez was a late substitute. He took the fight on a day's notice because the original opponent, Andres Gutierrez, he missed weight by 11 pounds, and Lopez scored a knockdown against Valdez in that fight. And Valdez was very upset, just grading himself out, said, I made the mistake, it's my fault. He wants to look sharp tonight.
And to Oscar Valdez's credit, Joe, as you mentioned, you got to add that to the equation. You know, Adam Lopez is a good fighter, good amateur career, great coach, the Hall of Famer Buddy McGirt, and that was his Super Bowl. That was his big opportunity. The opportunity was big, but it wasn't quite as big for Oscar Valdez. Those types of things happen. It wasn't his best performance. He owned it, and he vows to be better tonight.
Velez is shooting a jab out there, but he's bringing it back kind of low. Look out for the right hand of Oscar Valdez.
Just missed it right there, Tim.
And Oscar Valdez is a mean left hook as well. You can see the right hand coming a little bit forward. If Valdez was to get on this jab and bring that right hand forward on Velez, he'll be able to land that signature left hook too.
Velez goes to the body with a right hand.
Where's the jabs at from Oscar Valdez? No jabs? I mean, let's get some jabs going.
Another right hand to the body from Jayson Velez.
Joe, this is why Tim Bradley couldn't train me, and I don't even know if I would want him calling my fights because he doesn't let a fighter warm up. I mean, it's been 1 minute and 30 seconds, and he's already saying they're not jabbing.
Dre, I was thinking the same exact thing.
What a jab.
He is as tough of a critic as there
flick
is.
the jab out there.
Oh, my goodness.
Listen, man, flick the jab out there. Change the speed up on the jab. You ain't got to throw it with conviction, but just throw something out there on your opponent.
It's the first round, Timmy.
Listen, man, all this sitting and waiting, you can be jabbing.
Now there's a jab for you after he threw the left hand to the body. The continued development with Eddie Reynoso, trainer, of course, of Canelo.
See, Valdez swung for the fences right there with the left hook, but what he do, he's swinging up too high. You throw that left hook at the shoulder, it's going to meet the head of Velez.
2 times he pulled the trigger on that big left hook. End of one of our main event. And we're thankful that Bernardo gets to go home in just about 90 minutes, Bernardo. It's been an amazing run We're so thankful for our entire crew of ESPN personnel, 42 of them who have spent 47 days at the MGM Grand Conference Center to deliver 13 fight cards to you from June 9th. Round number 2 of our main event. Oscar Valdez trying to come out of here with a win tonight against Jayson Velez and set up the fight with the WBC world champion Miguel Berchelt. That would be as much action as anybody could handle. He says, everywhere I go, everybody's asking him about fighting Berchelt. But he said, what's on my mind is what's in front of me right here. And what's in front of him right here is a very active Jayson Velez, who threw 62 punches in that first round. Valdez a little more efficient, judicious. He was 11 out of 29. Let's check in with Bernardo.
Eddie Reynoso was telling Oscar, look, don't lunge, stay behind the jab, and you have an opening for that left hook. On the other side, for Jayson Velez, Emilio Lozada was saying, hey, you've got to keep your right hand up because he's looking for that left hook counter.
You know, Velez right now, he's marching forward. He's controlling the tempo right now. He's throwing, like you said, Tess, he's throwing more punches, but he's also keeping his range out there. He's using his reach and his height against Valdez.
He has a 2-inch advantage. Velez is 5'8", Valdez 5'6".
You see the style change for Oscar Valdez. It doesn't mean that he can never be the guy that gave him his name in the sport and that won him a world title and gave him an undefeated record. You just don't want to see that fighter, that blood and guts guy every single round. It's just not sustainable. You want to see that guy in glimpses, but you also want to see the fighter you're seeing now to set up the big punches and maybe some of the in-close fighting. So it's not that he's taking away, he's just adding to what he already has.
Like that turning point we saw in his career in March of 2018 when he fought with a broken jaw. That was that gutsy win against Scott Quigg. Quigg came in overweight that night, so couldn't fight for that featherweight title, but what a battle that was.
I see what Valdez is doing now. What he's doing is he's waiting. He's letting Velez get comfortable, and he's waiting on the perfect shot to land on him. He's allowing him to gain confidence through these rounds.
Valdez and Velez, they told us about these extra long camps that they feel like their bodies have had to endure. Getting ready to fight pre-pandemic and then waiting it out for months, and now the return of live boxing to national TV, and this the final of what's been the summer series of 2 to 3 fights a week we've had with Top Rank on ESPN. Before we take a little bit of a break and get back to championship fights on Saturday nights in August. Round number 3. Timmy, you said that you think Valdez is laying some traps.
Yep, I believe that Valdez is trying to lay some traps. Tess, he's waiting, then he's gonna pounce sooner or later. He's gonna have to turn it up. Once he realizes that Velez is not a very good inside fighter, he's more of a mid-range fighter. You know, I think he's gonna step it up and get it inside and then start working his hands. But you know, I noticed something, Tess. In that last round, inside the corner of Valdez, he got a mouse that's forming on his eye. No, the cut man didn't even touch the eye with the inswell. You know, you have to bring that swelling down. And if this kid's eye closes, then it's going to be some issues for him.
And we will monitor that. There's that up jab. Now right hand follows.
Hands free.
See, Valdez is in a tough spot, Joe, because if he boxes too much and stays on the outside and is not busy enough, he finds himself getting hit. He's not piling up enough points or inflicting enough damage. If he goes in and fights too often and gives up too many shots, that's also a problem. That's what he's sort of trying to get away from. So it's a very, very strenuous thing mentally to know and to teach yourself when to fight and when it's not okay to fight, when should I be on the outside boxing? You can literally see Valdez going through this process right now, right before our eyes.
So what manifests here in the early rounds, Dre, is exactly how we started the conversation at 8 o'clock Eastern tonight when you said potentially he's caught between two styles.
Well, when you've had the kind of trauma that he had with, you know, a broken jaw, like, you make extreme changes most of the time, and he never wants to be in that situation ever again in his life. I mean, it's a good headline. People, it'll cause people to click on the articles. It'll cause people to want to hear about his story. He may even get some fans by it. But in reality, it was a devastating moment for him physically, mentally, emotionally. He never wants to be close to a situation like that. That's why you see him boxing the way that he is right now.
Yeah, a situation where you have your jaw wired the following week after a fight, and you're not eating food for a few months. There's a left hand as we come to the end of round number 3, Valdez and Velez. Valdez has landed a quarter of his punches thrown so far tonight through 3 rounds. Velez is throwing more, but only landing 14% of his punches against Valdez.
Valdez is a former world champion. He has an experienced trainer in his corner, but doesn't have a cut man working his eyes and working his swelling. I don't even know what to say about that. You know, I see the swelling under the left eye. Hopefully it doesn't be an issue down the stretch of this fight, but an in-swell should be on that eye. It should be on his face. That's the sole piece of metal that you put in the bucket, the ice bucket. Needs to be applied to his face to bring that swelling down.
Bernardo, what's the word ringside?
Well, Eddie Rosso is not only his trainer, but also his cut man, so he does need to get that end swell going. Now, he told him, look, you're setting him up to the counter, but I need you to keep your hands up when you do that. He drops his right, so go with your left hook, and do not lunge. Keep moving your waist when you're trying to work your way in there.
Let's watch that right hand of Velez and see if the left hook opportunity exists here. Digs underneath, and there it is. Comes up top with the left hook after going to the body.
Just as you said, Tess, the body, bringing him down to the body and then coming up top is what set up that left hook. That body shot.
Maybe that left hand, the flush left hand that Valdez is landing on the chin of Velez, will do more damage later in the fight. But right now, Velez is taking those shots really well, and he's answering everything Valdez hits him with. And Velez is not throwing power, he's just staying busy. He's piling up points, and he's not allowing Valdez to think. And right now, Valdez is more of a thinking fighter. Velez is taking that away from him.
I'm sorry, but I got to be honest with you guys, man. You know I'm an honest guy, man. I just don't like this form of Valdez. I don't like what I'm seeing. I understand not getting hit, but you can also be offensive like Lomachenko and still have defense. You just got to be properly trained that way.
Very valid point, Tim, with the exception of saying that anybody can be like Lomachenko. Although Teofimo Lopez will take that.
Can be like but I'm just saying, Tess, there's a will, there's a way. If you got
There's no doubt about it. Just a tough guy to compare anybody to.
Yes, you're right.
Well, judges' view as we start round number 5. Oscar Valdez, Jayson Velez, and Valdez found success doubling up that left hand moments ago, Dre.
And Valdez throws his punches with conviction, like you see right here. Good left hook to the body. You see the arm of Velez pull back. That means he was hurt. Big shot, or it looked like a big shot to the head of Velez, but Valdez didn't turn the shot over. Look here. Boom. That's the shot that hurt him. And then, boom, he kind of hit Velez with the palm of the glove, and that's why it didn't do the damage that Valdez wanted.
And, Bernardo, what's the reaction in the corner of Jayson Velez?
Emilio Lozada saying, look, you got to get to work. Don't let him get away. They're not going to give it to us. That round he stole from you, you've got to go after him.
Velez is doing a good job. I mean, he's switching up his attacks. He's changing levels, going down to the body with the jab, coming up top with left hooks, right hands occasionally. He lunges right there, but I just love the way he's attacking Valdez. It seems like he's confusing Oscar Valdez.
I think it's a combination of Velez and what he's doing, just staying steady, putting shots out there, not real heavy, but again, not allowing Valdez to think. And then the other part is Valdez just not being confident in what he's worked on in the gym. When nobody's around in the gym, that's one thing. That's one level of pressure. But when you're in a fight, even with no crowd, when the whole world is watching, now you have to take what you've learned in the gym and cause it to translate. I don't see it translating right now. Oscar Valdez looks stuck between two styles. He's not sure if he wants to fight at times, and he's not sure when he wants to box. But the boxing isn't even prevailing right now. Velez, his boxing isn't as pretty as Valdez's, but it's more effective.
Velez nearly falling all the way in there, and Valdez was quick to pull the trigger.
That body work is the key for Valdez. He's got to stay down there. I'm seeing Velez react every time he gets hit down there.
Oh, left hook puts him down. Knockdown scored here in the closing moments of round 5.
5, 6, 7, 8. Come to me. Come to me. You good? That in? Okay, here we go.
Top contending 130-pounder who had 6 title defenses as the WBO featherweight champion. Going to finish off this night and set up that date against Miguel Berchelt. Left hook to the body against Velez.
Another beautiful left hand. Exactly, Joe. Right to the body. Saw another reaction from Velez, and he came up top as well. That's what Valdez wants to do. Start down low, get the reaction, and then throw the big shot, namely the left hook upstairs, and fight may be over at that point.
I just have a hard time watching this because you have a fighter that has a weakness. You got to understand and know that weakness, and you got to get in that position to expose that weakness. And I have to say that Velez is not a good inside fighter. He's a mid-range fighter. So go to the mid-range and battle him in that, battle him in the close quarters, in the inside. He's
Tim,
not a really good inside fighter.
Yeah, I think Valdez is realizing that right now.
Yeah, but you got to know that coming in the fight. You got to understand that from the beginning of the fight. Not sit on the outside and get picked off. Get close to this man.
Stop. Stop, stop. Stop, stop.
That's the shot that Oscar Valdez wants. He wants to dip his head and come over the top with that left hook. If he wants to get this fight over with, he's got to turn it over like he did in the previous round, or else Velez will just eat it and keep on coming.
Hands free.
He was firing away with it early, but then at 15 seconds to go in the 5th, did he ever connect? Remember, Velez 6 losses, but he's never been stopped. He's been in with Ryan Garcia, Juan Manuel Lopez, Joseph Diaz, had a title challenge to draw against Evgeny Gradovich.
There's nothing coming down, straight down the middle from Valdez. Everything is coming out wide, hooks. There's punches right down the middle from him for Velez.
When Valdez crouches like that, he's looking for that left hook.
Come on.
Velez has to recognize that and not just run into the shot.
Yeah, keep him up.
Anytime Valdez crouches down and looks up, he's looking to launch that left hook every time. Right, just like that. He didn't throw it, but that's what he's looking for.
Round main event. Oscar Valdez landed the big left hook at the end of round number 5, had Jayson Velez hurt late. Right now, Valdez has a 70-42 connect advantage to this point and a 52-30 power punch connect advantage.
Valdez has realized that Velez isn't throwing punches with a lot of steam on him, so he's trying to allow Velez to open up so he can punch inside Velez's punches, and again, namely with that left hook to the body, and he wants to finish with the left hook to the head.
Bernardo.
Eddie Reynoso told Oscar in the corner, you were a little bit out of control in that round. I need you to keep a tight guard, use your feints because he's already timed your jab. On the other corner, Emilio Lozada told Jayson Velez, hey, you are going to get a chance because he's going to open up here.
You're Jayson Velez. You don't wait for the perfect shot against Valdez. He's got to keep letting his hands go, keep putting pressure, even though it's awkward pressure on Valdez. He told us he trained for 12 to 13 weeks. He had over 120 sparring rounds, so conditioning should not be an issue. That's Velez's best opportunity to win this fight tonight.
I'm letting you know right now, Valdez think Velez is tough. He got another thing coming when it comes to Burchell.
No, stop.
Because if he looks like this against Burchell, I don't think it goes the distance.
Well, we will have plenty of time to talk about that if things stay the course here.
You know, as a fighter, whether it's Oscar Valdez or Isaac Dogboe, when you have a bad moment or a bad string in your career where you got knocked out or maybe you got hurt in a fight and you find yourself gun-shy, you got to be willing to go back to that place. You can't avoid it because you're going to look like a shell of yourself. You got to say, listen, I may get knocked out, but I'm going to be myself. I'm going to let my shots go. I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to be confident. That's what you look for fighters like Valdez and Dogboe who are rebuilding.
You know, it's funny to think about Valdez that way, a guy who has 6 title defenses, is undefeated, but, you know, the fight with Quigg, he breaks his jaw, has the brawl to get through that, and then tries to reshape himself, and then Lopez on short notice, who puts him down, comes back, wins that fight by TKO, bit of a quick stoppage, but such is the case of where Oscar Valdez is as he tries to get after it here at the end of 7. More to come. Stay with us. Tessitore, Andre Ward, Tim Bradley, and Mark Kriegel calling the action here. Round number 8 of Valdez and Velez, as Oscar Valdez has scored the knockdown in round number 5, trying to get himself a win and go to 28-0. Reminder, SportsCenter will get you up to speed on everything going on in the NBA bubble, from one bubble to the other. We're here at the MGM Grand COVID-free bubble. Opening day a couple days away, and the best of Top Rank, including what we saw earlier as the first round knockout streak of Edgar Berlanga continues, a perfect 14 for 14. We'll have much more on that.
You see, you think I'm being hard on Oscar Valdez. I'm not. You know, I'm here to tell you folks that there's different types of fighters. Okay, you got thinking fighters, like Andre Ward was a thinking fighter. He was a mastermind in that ring. You couldn't outthink him. You know, I was more of a reactive fighter. You know, I could do a little bit of both, but I mostly like to react to whatever my opponent is doing and then be able to make my adjustments. I had quick feet, quick hands, I get in and out. I had ring IQ sort of things. This guy right here, Oscar Valdez, ring IQ, good ring IQ, but he needs to be more reactive. What he sees, make him miss, make him pay. He should be coming forward, being himself, still being defensive at the same time, but letting his hands go.
Tim, great analysis, and isn't it funny that that's what translated over to each of your broadcast careers and your style as broadcasters as well?
Thanks.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said about Valdez, Timmy, but I must say this about myself. I was a little mean in there, too.
No doubt about
Dre,
that.
you was a beast in the inside. There's no doubt about it, Dre.
I had a little mean streak in me.
Still have a little of that competitive fire.
Just a little.
Because that's our production
Never
crew.
fully dies. It never fully. Just enough. Just enough.
Velez coming forward towards Valdez now. And a chopping right hand moments ago. Nearly got caught by that right hand.
I'm going to tell you what a good trainer does. This is what a good trainer does. He takes your attributes, and what he does, he improves you in areas where you're weak at. All right, defensively, Valdez was weak defensively. But you can't take away his offense just so he can be defensive. You know, a good trainer can train those areas without taking away your strong suits.
So you point the finger to Eddie Reynoso here. You think too much has been sacrificed on the accelerator of Valdez, the aggressiveness, and the offensive side.
Yes. What are you trying to be, Canelo? He ain't Canelo. You can't train everybody like you can train Canelo. Canelo's Canelo. Oscar Valdez.
Coverage of Berlanga's streak. It happened 62 seconds into the first round. 14 straight first-round knockouts now to start his career.
Joe, I don't like what I see from Oscar Valdez tonight. I just don't see confidence. I don't see consistency. I see a fighter who's unsure. I mean, Jayson Velez.
Time. Yeah, low. Get over there.
A low blow right there.
Come here. Get here. 1 point. Low blow, 1 point. Low blow, 1 point. Low blow, 1 point low. Come on, just keep it low. Okay?
Yeah. Point deduction.
Javier? Good? Okay, here we go. Time back in. Let's go.
And here's a look at that low blow.
Stop.
But Joe, like I was saying, just Oscar's not showing me what I thought I would see tonight from him. Velez is a good fighter. He's a veteran. He's been in there with some top guys. He came up short against those guys. But this isn't the guy that's supposed to make Valdez look like this. This is the fight where Velez tests Valdez, or at least he's supposed to. But Valdez passes with flying colors, and tonight he's not passing with flying colors, at least up until this point.
You know what I find interesting about having that conversation, Dre, is that it's not dissimilar to what Valdez told us about other recent fights, where when you talk to him, you ask about the training, you ask about the development, you ask about what he's seeing in sparring. He feels great going into the fight. He's not getting the results once he's in the ring that he thought he would, based on what he's putting in, the work he's putting in the gym. This new version of him.
Because this is not the gym. Right. This is not the gym. These are not paid sparring partners. This is the fighter in Jayson Velez that, you know, he wants his opportunity. Adam Lopez, he wants his opportunity. And fighters, when they see another wounded fighter, they come alive. They fight above what they used to fight in the past. I don't know why it's like that with fighters. When they think a guy is invincible, you'll see him a little hesitant. Even some of the toughest guys in the sport. But when they see you get knocked down, when they see the fact that you take a lot of punishment, your jaw's been broke, they come alive. And you see Jayson Velez fighting over his head tonight against a former champion in Oscar Valdez.
Stop.
There's that left hook opportunity again as both men opened up on the inside.
No. Stop. There we go. Over there.
Velez is really opening himself up wide in the inside. He needs to be careful. Valdez is sitting on those left hooks.
He really is. Much of this ninth round, it's been that way. 1 round to go from Vegas. Tenth and final round here. Top Rank Boxing on ESPN. Joe Tessitore and the guys, with the action coming from the MGM Grand Conference Center. Through 9 rounds, Valdez has a 121-60 connect advantage. He had the left hook that scored the knockdown in the 5th. A low blow point deduction against Velez in the 9th, so seemingly he's well ahead on the scorecards. But Dre, you described this as a performance that does not bring about a lot of confidence or consistency.
Well, not if you got a full-fledged 130-pounder named Miguel Berchelt in the wings on the other side of this fight. If it wasn't for that, maybe I'd say, okay, this is another good building moment for Oscar Valdez. He'll go back to the drawing board and maybe he'll do better next time. When you got Berchelt, who is a train with no brakes, waiting for you, this isn't the performance you want right before you face him.
What a perfect description of Miguel Berchelt.
See what the problem with Oscar Valdez right now is? You see,
never been stopped.
Valdez, he's stepping back. He'll make Velez miss, but then he doesn't make him pay. So what does Velez do? He just continues to let his hands go. He gets comfortable, just throwing shots like that. If Valdez was to counter every time Velez would throw a punch, he'd be a lot more successful, and he'll stop him from coming forward.
Oh, there's a left hook to the temple, and now, with a minute and a half to go, we'll see if Valdez can take advantage. And instead, it's Jayson Velez who steps to him.
No, it's funny. Velez was hurt right there for a second, and then what did he do? His natural instinct. That's we as fighters. That's what we do. We step towards danger.
Run to the roar.
That's why sometimes you got to step back. Exactly.
Run to the roar.
But, you know, you have Test.
He goes down that time with a short left hook on the inside. He's been wide open, stepping to the inside for the last couple rounds.
6, 7.
He's exhausted.
8.
Yeah,
está bien. Okay, I'll give you a chance.
Second time he's been down from a left hook. Let's see if he can survive these last 45 seconds. Off balance again. And that will do it. It's going to be a 10th round TKO for Oscar Valdez.
TKO. TKO. Yeah.
Well, Dre, we heard what you were saying the past few rounds. Does that in any way change your thinking and your analysis on your final thoughts on Oscar Valdez tonight?
223.
Well, listen, I'm not going to underestimate Oscar Valdez, a former champion, a warrior, a fighter who is, you know, trying to evolve his style so he can have more longevity in the sport. He's still got a lot left in the tank, and he has the ability to beat Miguel Berchelt. It just doesn't give you a vote of confidence with his last 2 fights when you see him thinking as much as he is thinking in the boxing ring. Berchelt is not going to allow him to think the way he wants to. He's got heavy hands. He's aggressive. It's personal. It's a battle for Mexico, and I'm just not sure right now what mental space Valdez is in and if he's ready for that.
Tim, your final thoughts on this outing from Valdez tonight?
And you know what? Hey, I'm happy he got the stoppage, you know, because I just thought the performance itself was mediocre. I thought he could have done, you know, a lot more early on. And this is the thing that I got to tell you young fighters out there, man. You got to start studying your opponents, okay? If he was to sit down and study this opponent, Velez, he would have found out a lot sooner that he didn't like it inside the kitchen. And he could have done this a lot sooner in this fight. But good stoppage, great knockout, and I'm looking forward to the Berchelt fight.
Oscar Valdez salvaged the evening with the knockout. But Tim, if you remember all the way back in the first round, he started getting a red eye, the left eye. He was getting hit with lead rights. Velez has a 2.5-inch reach advantage on him. Berchelt has 5.5 inches. If you can't deal with a lead right from Jayson Velez, how are you going to do it with Miguel Berchelt? It's 2 years with Eddie Reynoso. He should be further along. You know, I mean, it's almost as if he forgot what's good about him, and he needs to remember who he is.
Listen, it sets the stage for a fascinating fight. We're at 28-0 with 22 knockouts.
Ladies and gentlemen, here inside MGM Grand, referee Tony Weeks calls a stop to this bout at 2 minutes, 23 seconds of round number 10. Declaring your winner by technical knockout, Oscar Valdez!
10th round TKO for Oscar Valdez. 28-0 now, 22 knockouts. The final CompuBox numbers had him landing 138 total punches of 472 thrown, 102 power punches, 3 knockdowns scored. And we want to thank our friends at CompuBox for their outstanding work in the past 2 months during this pandemic period of bringing you this summer series of 15 live fight cards since June 9th. Great job by CompuBox. We'll be back with more right after this.